Let's cut the fluff. Women aren't the mysterious creatures society makes them out to be. They're human, just like us, with predictable emotional triggers that when pulled correctly can make them think about you non-stop. Now, before you start whining about manipulation, understand this. I'm not talking about tricking or deceiving anyone. I'm talking about understanding human psychology and using it to your advantage. Too many men make the mistake of chasing women like disperate puppies. They overpraise, overinvest, and overthink every move, hoping she'll magically notice them. That's not how it works. Women aren't wired to obsess over men who act like servants. They obsess over men who make them feel. Feel what? Intrigue, desire, curiosity, even frustration. Women become obsessed when you engage their emotions, not when you try to bribe them with attention and gifts. Here's the truth. Most guys are too predictable. They put everything on the table up front. There's no mystery, no challenge, no spark. Then they wonder why she loses interest so quickly. If you want a woman to obsess over you, you've got to flip the script. You need to stand out in a way that grabs her attention and keeps her guessing. In this video, I'll share 7 psychological tricks that tap into her emotional wiring and keep you on her mind 24/7. These aren't gimmicks, they're strategies that work because they align with how attraction and desire naturally function. If you're tired of being overlooked or left behind, pay attention. These tricks aren't just going to change how women see you. They're going to change how you see yourself. Let's get started. Number 1. Be scarce, not clingy. Scarcity is one of the most powerful psychological tools in attraction. It's simple. People value what feels rare or hard to get. When you make yourself too available, you unintentionally lower your perceived value. Women, like anyone else, are naturally drawn to what feels exclusive or difficult to attain. If you want her to obsess over you, you must learn the art of being scarce without coming off as uninterested or rude. The first step is to stop overextending yourself. Many men think constant attention and availability will make a woman like them more. They text her all day, agree to every plan she proposes, and make it clear she's their number 1 priority. While this might seem like a way to show interest, it often backfires. Instead of being flattered, she begins to take you for granted. After all, if you're always there, where's the excitement or challenge? Being scarce doesn't mean playing childish games or ignoring her to make her chase you. It means having your own life, priorities, and commitments that don't revolve around her. When she sees that your time is valuable and that you're not just sitting around waiting for her attention, it sends a strong message. You're a man with purpose. That's attractive. Scarcity also applies to communication. If you're always the first to text or respond immediately, you're not giving her time to miss you. Let the conversation breathe. Let her wonder about you. When you're not constantly in her face, she has time to think about you, and that's when you become more intriguing. It's important to note that scarcity isn't about neglecting her or being distant to the point of disinterest. It's about finding balance. You want to show her that you're interested but not desperate. For instance, if she invites you out, don't always drop everything to say yes. If you're genuinely busy, let her know you'll see her another time. This subtly reinforces that your life doesn't revolve around her, and it makes the time you do spend together feel more special. Think about it this way. Exclusive experiences, rare items, and limited opportunities are always more desirable because they're not easily accessible. The same concept applies to you. When you position yourself as someone who is selective about where you invest your time and energy, you naturally become more appealing. Finally, don't mistake scarcity for arrogance. The goal isn't to make her feel unimportant, it's to show her that you value yourself. When you carry yourself with self-respect and demonstrate that you have a fulfilling life outside of her, you create an irresistible sense of intrigue. In the end, being scarce isn't about manipulation. It's about respecting your own value and encouraging her to recognize it too. When you master this balance, you'll find that women are not only drawn to you, but can't stop thinking about you. Number 2. Stay mysterious. If you want a woman to become obsessed with you, stop being an open book. Mystery is one of the most underrated yet powerful tools in attraction. It keeps her intrigued, guessing, and eager to learn more about you. When she feels like she doesn't have you fully figured out, her curiosity keeps her engaged. The biggest mistake men make is oversharing too early. You meet someone you like and suddenly you're spilling your life story, your struggles, your dreams, your past relationships, all within the first few conversations. While you might think this shows openness and vulnerability, it actually removes all the excitement of getting to know you. When there's no mystery, there's no intrigue. Keeping things mysterious doesn't mean lying or hiding who you are. It simply means pacing how much you reveal. For example, instead of answering every question in detail, give enough to satisfy the conversation without giving everything away. If she asks about your weekend, instead of listing every little thing you did, say, "It was great, did some interesting stuff," and leave it there. Let her ask follow-up questions if she wants to know more. Another key to mystery is unpredictability. Don't be too predictable in your behavior, responses, or routines. If she knows exactly when you'll text, what you'll say, and how you'll act, the excitement fades. Throw in a bit of variety. Maybe don't text her good night every single evening, or suggest a spontaneous plan instead of sticking to the same routine. Mystery also applies to your ambitions and lifestyle. Have passions and goals that she doesn't fully understand yet. If you're always working on something interesting, it creates the impression that your life is exciting and full of depth. When she sees you as someone with layers to uncover, she'll naturally want to dig deeper. Another way to stay mysterious is by being calm and composed. Don't rush to explain yourself every time there's a misunderstanding or silence in a conversation. Let her sit with the uncertainty sometimes. It creates intrigue. A man who doesn't feel the need to over-clarify or over-communicate comes off as confident and self-assured. At the same time, mystery doesn't mean playing games or being distant to the point of frustration. You need to strike a balance, show interest, engage in meaningful conversations, and let her feel valued. But leave enough unsaid that she wants to come back for more. Remember, mystery isn't about being complicated or confusing. It's about creating a sense of wonder. Let her feel like there's always more to learn about you. When you master this, you'll find that she's not just interested, she's hooked. Number 3, trigger emotions. You want her attention? Then stop trying to win her over with logic. You're not applying for a job. You're stepping into the emotional battlefield where attraction is decided not by how much sense you make, but by how you make her feel. And this is where most guys fail. They lead with stats, show stable they are, how much they've accomplished, how respectful they can be. But women don't chase resumes. They chase experiences. You can have it all on paper and still be invisible if you don't stir something inside her. And I'm not talking about chaos or drama. I'm talking about subtle sparks, emotional waves that pull her in. See, women live in emotional motion. That's not a flaw, it's part of their beauty. But if you show up with flat energy, with predictability, with robotic compliments and safe conversations, she'll tune out fast. You become another grey face in a sea of tryhards. So how do you stand out? You create emotional contrast. Here's a real-world example. You're out for coffee. Most guys will lock into polite mode, nodding, smiling, being agreeable. You play with tension, you break the rhythm. When she says something you disagree with, don't just smile and nod, ask her to explain. Push her, gently, create a spark. And when she responds, don't jump to fill the silence. Let it hang. Let her feel the weight of being seen. That space between your calm and her reaction is where attraction starts to build. Now, let's bring in some Stoic clarity. Stoicism doesn't mean being numb. It means emotional mastery. It means being the calm eye in the middle of her emotional storm. It's about having the range, being able to laugh, flirt, challenge, go deep, but staying grounded the entire time. Most men either emotionally overshare or emotionally hide. Both kill attraction. One drowns her in drama, the other leaves her cold. What works is balance, emotional control, not suppression, depth, not overexposure. Let me give you a quick truth. If she walks away from the interaction not feeling anything, she's not coming back. Triggering emotion doesn't mean you try to manipulate. It means you lead the energy. That could mean you pause longer than expected when you look at her. It could mean telling a story, not a bragging story, but a human story. Maybe it's how you failed at something and what you learned. Maybe it's a moment of silence where she catches herself studying your face because she can't read you. That's emotional gravity. That's what draws her back. You want her to chase you? Make her wonder. Don't always text back right away. Not as a trick, but because your life matters. That gap between her sending and you replying creates emotion, anticipation, curiosity. And don't always say yes. A man with boundaries is a man with value. Ask better questions. Instead of, what do you do for fun? Try, what's something you used to love as a kid that you stopped doing? That question triggers nostalgia, reflection, emotion. And when she answers, actually listen. Don't rush to relate it back to you. Let her feel that you heard her, really heard her. That silence, that stillness, that's the part she remembers. Now here's where the Stoic mindset becomes your superpower. You're not reacting to her, you're creating space. She may test you emotionally, pull back, say something sharp, throw a curveball. Most guys either chase harder or shut down. You observe, you stay composed. You let her feel without needing to fix it. Because here's the deeper truth. Women don't want a man who reacts to everything they do. They want a man who contains the moment, who gives her room to feel without drowning in it himself. That's emotional power. That's leadership. That's what makes her curious. She doesn't want to be impressed. She wants to be moved. So give her moments she replays in her head, where your words hit different, where your silence held more meaning than a paragraph of compliments, where she left wondering what just happened and wanting to come back. Do that, and she'll start chasing you. Not for answers, not for approval, but for the feeling she can't get anywhere else. Drop a comment. I trigger feeling. You've just unlocked a layer most men never even see. But we're not stopping here. What comes next changes the whole dynamic. Stay with me. Number 4. Be unpredictable. Let me tell you what instantly kills a woman's attraction. Predictability. She knows what you'll say before you say it. She knows what you'll do on Friday night, what meme you'll send, how fast you'll reply. That's not comfort. That's boredom. Attraction dies the moment routine takes over. Not just in relationships, in the chase, too. Here's where most guys mess up. They think the more consistent they are, the more she'll trust them. But she's not looking for stability right away, she's looking for electricity. And electricity doesn't come from being safe. It comes from surprise, from edges, from a sense of, what's next? Now don't get it twisted. This isn't about playing games. It's not about manipulating or ghosting her for attention. It's about breaking patterns. Because if she can predict you, she won't chase you. Let's go deeper. A woman's emotional system is wired for discovery. Novelty activates her interest. The unexpected wakes her up. So when you always text good morning, always say the right thing. Always keep it polite. You're not building attraction. You're giving her a script. And scripts don't create spark. Here's a real example. She texts you late at night, expecting the usual flirty banter. Instead, you respond with, "Not tonight. I'm working on something important. Talk soon." No emoji, no explanation, just detachment and direction. You know what that does? It breaks her rhythm. And now she's thinking about you, not the other way around. Being unpredictable means you're not afraid to lead from instinct, not approval. It means sometimes you'll push back when she teases you. Sometimes you'll pause before you answer. Sometimes you'll switch the topic, flip the vibe, or go silent mid-text. And here's where Stoicism enters. Stoic men don't perform. They respond to the moment. They don't chase comfort or control, they embrace flow, but keep their center grounded. A predictable man needs validation. An unpredictable man is comfortable with tension. Big difference. Unpredictability also means you don't let her know where she stands all the time. Not by lying, not by disappearing, but by keeping just enough of yourself out of reach. You don't need to reveal every thought, every emotion, every plan, because mystery is power. And when she can't decode your every move, she pays closer attention. Think of James Bond, or better yet, Marcus Aurelius. Calm, stoic, but no one ever fully knew what was going on behind his eyes. That's where your power lives in, what you hold back. You want her chasing you? Then give her a little friction. Say no sometimes. Pull away when things get too easy. Laugh when she expects you to be serious. Say something bold when she expects you to stay polite. Not for attention, for polarity. Let me be clear. Unpredictability without purpose is chaos. But unpredictability with presence is magnetic. You're not random. You're dynamic. You're full of angles, ideas, edges, and she can't quite figure you out. That drives her wild. Because she can't scroll past you like another DM. You're not a meme. You're not a strategy. You're a feeling. And feelings that shift keep her chasing. So don't let her fall into a rhythm. Don't become another guy she can predict, control, categorize. Keep her guessing, not by trying to shock her, but by always choosing presence over patterns. That's what makes her lean in. Drop a comment. I don't follow scripts. You've just unlocked a secret most men never learn. But the next step, that's where she starts chasing you. Stick around. Number 5. Radiate confidence. Confidence isn't what you say. It's not a pickup line. It's not wearing expensive clothes or walking like you own the place. Real confidence is what you don't need to prove. And women feel that. They sense it the second you walk in. It's in your posture. It's in the way you take your time when you speak. It's in your eye contact, not intense, not searching for approval, just grounded. Most guys confuse confidence with performance. They think they have to act bold, speak loud, dominate the space. But that's not confidence. That's anxiety dressed up in noise. A confident man isn't trying to convince anyone. He's not chasing reactions. He already knows who he is. And that's magnetic. Let's get clear here. You can't fake this. Women are emotionally intuitive. If you're insecure underneath the surface, she'll pick it up before you even say a word. So where does real confidence come from? Presence. When you're fully in your body, fully in the moment, not living in your head or worried about outcomes, she feels that. You're not reacting to her. You're responding to what is. That presence, rooted in Stoicism, is the foundation. It's the ability to stay calm in chaos, to not be shaken by a text left on read, to not spiral when she's distant or moody. Because here's what most men miss. She's not testing you to hurt you. She's testing to feel your core, to see if you break. And if you break, she loses respect. But when you hold the frame, when you stay composed, when you don't explain yourself out of fear or chase to fix it, you become rare. Because most men fold. They get emotional, reactive, desperate. They over-communicate. They try to fix the vibe. But you radiate calm. You know your worth isn't based on her mood today. You're not thrown off just because she's distant. You trust yourself. And that trust? That's the signal she's been waiting for. Let me give you a real example. Let's say you're at a bar. You're talking, things are flowing. Then suddenly, she turns cold, distracted, looks at her phone. Most guys would panic. They'd lean in harder. Try to say something funny. Try to win her back. You sip your drink, smile slightly. You're unaffected, because you know your vibe speaks louder than her temporary shift. That's confidence, not loud, not forced, just unshaken. And it doesn't stop with presence. It's in the way you move. You don't walk fast like you're chasing time. You move deliberately. You don't rush to fill silences. You let them breathe. And when you speak clearly. You don't apologize for your opinions. You don't lower your voice when talking about your standards. You don't shrink to make her comfortable, because you're not trying to be liked. You're being you. And here's what happens when you live like that. She starts adjusting to you. Your energy becomes the frame she steps into. Now let's bring it home to Stoicism. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's humility with spine. It's knowing you don't control everything but still showing up as if you do. It's being unaffected not because you don't care, but because you care deeply about your peace. That's the man who draws attention without asking. That's the man she watches when he leaves the room. That's the man she tells her friends about but can't quite describe. And guess what? When you radiate that kind of confidence, you don't need to chase. She starts moving closer, because your stillness feels like power. Your calm feels like safety. Your presence feels like home, and most men don't know how to offer that. So stop looking for lines. Stop looking for hacks. Start looking inward. Because once you embody confidence, you don't attract women through strategy. You attract them through energy. Dropacomment. I radiate calm. You're playing a different game now. And in the next part, that game flips even further in your favor. Keep watching. Number 6. Mirror her desires. Here's the truth most men never figure out. She's not looking for a clone. She's looking for reflection not of her identity, but of her unspoken desires. And if you can mirror that back to her without trying, without performing, she'll start chasing you without realizing why. Most guys go about this the wrong way. They try to match her hobbies. They mimic her interests, her language, her lifestyle. It's people-pleasing disguised as compatibility. But women aren't attracted to sameness. They're drawn to depth, to tension, to a man who represents the emotion they're too guarded to admit they crave. So what does mirroring her desires actually mean? It means becoming a reflection of what her feminine energy is secretly drawn to. Stability, mystery, leadership, direction, emotional strength. Not because she asked for it, but because your energy answers a question she didn't even know she was asking. Let's break this down with a real-world example. She says she wants someone emotionally available. Most guys interpret that as oversharing, constant texting, vulnerability on demand. But what she actually wants? A man who can feel deeply but doesn't lose himself in those feelings. She wants strength she can lean into, not emotion she has to manage. So when you stay calm when she gets erratic, when you don't take her moods personally, when you create space for her emotion without flinching, you're mirroring her core desire, safety in masculine presence. And that's rare. Or maybe she says she loves a sense of humor. Again, guys start cracking jokes, trying to impress her. But the truth is, it's not about punchlines. It's about freedom. She wants to feel light, unburdened, able to let go. So when you're playful, unreactive, and carry no emotional heaviness, you're reflecting what she wants to feel around you, not matching her energy, elevating it. And here's where Stoicism kicks in. To mirror her desires, you must first detach from needing her approval. You can't reflect what she wants if you're still chasing validation. The Stoic man doesn't guess what she needs. He embodies truth, clarity, discipline, and lets her choose whether to step into that space. That's what's so attractive. Not that you're trying to give her everything, but that you already are what she's looking for, without compromise. Let me go deeper. Sometimes she pulls back. She's cold, distant, testing. You don't chase, you don't collapse, you don't explain. You stand still, emotionally clean, spiritually unmoved. What does that mirror back to her? That her drama doesn't control the masculine, that your frame isn't built on her mood. She feels the boundary, and while part of her may resist it, the deeper part respects it. Now let's talk presence. When you listen, really listen, not with, "I want to reply, but I want to understand." You reflect back her need to be seen. And when you challenge her gently, without trying to win, you reflect back her desire to be led. You're not agreeing to keep her comfortable. You're disagreeing to keep her engaged. You don't flatter her. You see her. That's why she remembers you. Because while everyone else mirrored her surface, you mirrored her core. That doesn't mean reading her mind. It means knowing yours, holding your standard, living your truth, and letting her emotions orbit that energy. That's the mirror she can't ignore, because in that reflection, she finds the parts of herself she trusts most. That's when the chase begins. Drop a comment. I mirror powerfully. You've just stepped into the rare air, the kind of presence that flips attraction on its head. And what's coming next? That's where you become unforgettable. Number 7. Be the prize. Let's make one thing clear. If she doesn't see you as the prize, she won't chase. And no, this isn't about arrogance. It's about positioning. It's about flipping the dynamic most men get trapped in, where the man becomes the beggar and she becomes the reward. You want her to chase you? Then stop treating her attention like it's gold and yours like it's free. Most guys don't get this. They pedestal her. They act like her beauty, her presence, her time is something to constantly earn. So they adjust, they overgive, they overpursue, and they shrink. And you know what happens? The second she feels that power shift where you need her more than she needs you, the attraction dies. Women don't chase men who chase them. They chase men who chase their purpose. So let's shift the script. Being the prize doesn't mean being cold. It means being anchored. It means you know who you are. You know where you're going. And anyone who comes into your world is lucky to be there. That includes her. Now pause. That might sound ego-driven, but it's actually Stoic. Stoicism teaches you don't beg for externals. You control what's internal. You don't base your worth on outcomes, opinions, or attraction. You live by values, by direction, by discipline. That's what makes you the prize. Not because you're trying to be chosen, but because you've already chosen yourself. Let me give you a real-life contrast. Guy A sees a beautiful woman. He drops everything, starts chasing, over-texts, plans around her. He's now on her schedule, her approval loop, her emotional roller coaster. Guy B sees the same woman. He notices her beauty, sure, but he doesn't flinch. He keeps his rhythm. He doesn't make himself small to fit her life. She has to step up to be in his world. That's the difference. One is trying to be enough. The other already is. And guess which one she starts thinking about when she's alone? Now here's where the real shift happens. When you embody being the prize, you stop trying to impress. You focus on expressing. You're not editing yourself to be more likable. You're living in your frame, with zero need to apologize for it. You're not performing for attention. You're selecting who gets yours. Even in how you move, you don't rush to reply. Not as a tactic, but because your time matters. You don't say yes to last-minute plans. Not out of ego, but out of self-respect. You don't fear rejection, because the prize doesn't beg to be kept. It knows it'll be missed. And the irony? That's what makes you irresistible, because most men lean in too fast. You lean back. You don't need her to choose you. You're watching if she qualifies to stay. And guess what that does to her psyche? It flips the dynamic. She starts wondering if she's doing enough. She starts thinking about you. Because you're not flooding her with attention. You're offering access in doses. Measured, controlled, valuable. That's what high-value energy feels like. And the feminine is drawn to that polarity. So don't just act like the prize. Be it. Build your life. Protect your peace. Guard your standards. Live your mission like no one else is coming to save you. Because when you walk like you have something to protect, you make her feel like she has something to earn. And that's when the chase begins. Drop a comment. I am the prize. You're no longer playing small. The next step? It's not about chasing her attention. It's about owning the frame entirely. Stay with me. Number 8. Let her earn access. You give too much too soon, she checks out. That's how it works. Not because she's ungrateful, but because when something is handed over too easily, it loses value. Fast. Most guys think access equals attraction. If I just show her everything, my kindness, my loyalty, my plans, my heart, she'll see how great I am. But what actually happens? She gets comfortable. Then she gets bored. Then she starts to pull away. You're not being rejected because you're not enough. You're being rejected because you made yourself too available before she earned it. Let's flip that. Let her earn access. Not out of punishment, out of principle. Because you are not an open-door policy. You are not Wi-Fi. You are a man on mission. And anything that gets close to that mission better be qualified. It starts with your attention. Don't pour it on just because she's attractive. Attraction is common. Discipline is rare. The man who withholds his full attention until he sees intenther stands out. Think about it. When was the last time a woman had to work for a man's approval? Not in a toxic, manipulative way. In a way where his vibe said, I see you, I like you, but I don't need to give you my world until I see you can handle it. That's power. You don't withhold because you're scared. You withhold because you're selective. And that's the difference between a boy and a man. Now don't mistake this with playing games. This isn't about being distant, cold, or fake. It's about graduated access. You give a little. You observe. You don't get excited because she flirts. You don't upgrade her just because she complimented you. You want her to chase? Let her work for levels. Let her earn your softness. Let her earn your vulnerability. Let her earn time on your calendar, your mind, your inner world. That's when she starts investing, and people value what they invest in. It's the same principle Stoics lived by. You protect your peace. You don't hand your emotions to the crowd. You keep your core private until you see character. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome, yet he journaled in silence. He didn't blast his truth to gain favor. He stayed internal, grounded. That's the man you want to be. Here's the secret. The more she has to lean in, wonder, wait, question, the more engaged she becomes. Because the feminine is drawn to challenge, not struggle but depth. And you, my friend, are the depth. But only if you stop rewarding her for doing nothing. Let's make this real. She texts you, hey stranger. Most guys reply immediately. Throw in a smiley. Ask how she's doing. Trying to rebuild rapport she hasn't earned. You wait. You read her tone. You keep it short, measured. You don't chase comfort, you create curiosity. Why? Because she's not entitled to the same version of you she walked away from. Let me say that again. She is not entitled to the version of you she once ignored. Access is earned, not assumed. And when she realizes that, everything changes. She starts to wonder, did I lose something valuable? That's the exact thought that triggers her to come forward on your terms. So stop giving her your best for free. You want to be rare? Let her earn rare. That means boundaries. That means silence when it's needed. That means standards that don't bend just because she's back. She can come back, but the door isn't wide open. It's guarded, because the man you're becoming, he's not chasing anymore. He's choosing. I don't give free access. This shift right here, it flips everything, and what's next will lock it in for good. Stick around. Number 9. Slow down the chase. You move too fast. You lose her. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. The moment you chase too hard, too soon, too openly, the game ends before it ever really begins. And the worst part? You think you're building momentum, but what you're actually building is resistance. Because when you move too fast, you don't give her time to feel anything. No space to miss you, no curiosity to build, no emotional tension to grow. Attraction lives in tension, and tension only exists when there's pacing. Most men rush because they're afraid. Afraid she'll lose interest, afraid someone else will take their place, afraid they're not enough unless they keep feeding attention, validation, availability. But that energy, it's repelling, because now she knows she doesn't have to do anything. You're already all in, and there's no chase left. And without the chase there's no desire. Here's what slowing down the chase actually means. It's not playing hard to get. It's being hard to earn. You don't match her texting speed. You don't rush to make plans. You don't go from first date to emotional diary in 48 hours. You control the tempo. You let the beat build, because the longer you stretch the space between interactions, the more intensity you create in her mind. It's like a slow-burning movie. The scenes matter more. The looks linger longer. The anticipation builds. She starts thinking about you when you're not around, not because you're constantly in her face, but because you're just barely out of reach. And that's where her imagination kicks in. Let me make this tangible. You go on a great first date. Conversation flows. There's chemistry. Most guys text an hour later, "Had a great time. When can I see you again?" You wait. You let her sit in that silence. You let her replay the night. You let her wonder what you're thinking. That space creates value, because silence is not disinterest. Silence is strategy. Women aren't attracted to constant access. They're attracted to momentum with mystery. They're drawn to presence with pacing. And Stoicism backs this up. A Stoic man doesn't rush outcomes. He's detached from urgency. He understands that desire needs time to bloom. You ever notice how the most magnetic men rarely seem in a hurry? It's because they know time is leverage. Not something to chase, but something to command. Slow the chase, and she speeds up. She starts texting first. She initiates plans. She checks your social media, because now she's the one leaning in. And when that happens, here's the key. Don't break the rhythm. Just because she shows interest doesn't mean you speed up. You stay measured. You keep leading the tempo. Like a dance, if you move too fast, you step on her toes. Now some guys fear she'll lose interest if they don't keep up. But here's the reality. If interest fades from slowing down, it was never real to begin with. Genuine desire deepens with pace. You give her space to feel, to miss, to imagine. That's the part that hooks her emotionally. And when you do show up, you're not just another guy texting "wid." You're a moment. You're a vibe she's been waiting for. So slow it down. Let her earn the next step. Let her sit with uncertainty. Let her desire build instead of burn out. This isn't passive. This is powerful. Because when you pace the connection, you're no longer reacting. You're directing. That's masculine leadership. That's the frame. And once you own the pace, you own the dynamic. Drop a comment. I control the tempo. The game just changed. And the final shift. That's where everything locks in. Stick with me. Number 10. Seduce her mind, not just her body. Let's be real. Any guy with a decent face and a gym membership can turn heads. But turning her mind? That's a different league. Because women don't just fall for a body. They fall for a feeling. A psychological pull they can't name. A magnetic rhythm they don't fully understand. And that rhythm doesn't start in your abs. It starts in your presence. Seduction isn't about flexing. It's about triggering intrigue. It's not about saying the perfect thing. It's about leaving something unsaid. That space between what she knows and what she wants to know, that's where the real seduction happens. But here's where most guys mess it up. They go physical too fast. They jump to compliments. They push touch. They chase validation by trying to be sexy. You want to be unforgettable? Make her think about you. Long after the conversation ends. Long after she gets home, when she's lying in bed, scrolling her phone, and your name pops up in her mind. That's power. And it happens when you speak to more than just her looks. You speak to her imagination. Here's the truth. A woman's deepest attraction lives in her head. Not because she's playing games, but because her mind is the gateway to her heart. And if you bypass it, all you get is surface-level connection. So how do you seduce her mind? Start by mastering presence. When you're with her, be there. Not fidgeting, not looking around, not pre-planning your next move. You lock in. You listen with curiosity. You react not to impress, but to understand. That alone puts you ahead of 90% of men. Then, lead the conversation away from cliches. Don't ask what she does for work. Ask what lights her up. Ask what makes her lose track of time. Ask who she becomes when no one's watching. That's the layer she never gets to reveal. And if you open that door gently, without force, without agenda, she'll walk through it. And now you've got her attention. Now, this doesn't mean you become soft or overly emotional. This is still masculine energy. It's just refined. It's powerful, not pushy. It's controlled, not needy. And it lives in contrast. You maintain your grounded masculine frame, while giving her the safety to explore her femininity. You hold tension. You're unshaken when she tests you. You stay rooted when she flirts, pulls back, plays hot and cold. Because you're not trying to win her. You're showing her what it feels like to be around a man who doesn't need to chase to be desired. That's seductive. Think about it. Every woman's been hit on. Every woman's had a guy drool over her looks. But when a man triggers her mind, when he speaks to the version of her she hasn't even fully explored yet, he becomes unforgettable. He becomes the one she thinks about in silence, the one she checks for online, the one she starts chasing without even realizing why. And Stoicism, it sharpens this skill. Because the Stoic man isn't desperate for connection. He's full within himself. And that fullness makes his attention feel rare. He's not oversharing. He's not seeking validation. He listens more than he speaks. And when he speaks, it carries weight, because his silence has value. Seduction isn't loud. It's quiet. It's slow. It's intentional. It's not about what you give. It's about what you withhold, just enough to make her lean forward. So stop trying to impress her with your lifestyle, your car, your watch. Impress her with your control, your depth, your ability to make her feel seen in a way no one else does. And she won't just remember you. She'll want you. Not because of what you gave her, but because of what she felt around you. Drop a comment. I seduce the mind. This isn't a tactic. It's who you become. And it changes everything. And if you made it this far, you're not like most men. You don't settle for surface-level advice. You're here to become the kind of man she can't forget, can't ignore, can't replace. Every move you make from now on, you'll make with intention, with calm, with clarity. And if you want to keep growing, keep sharpening that edge, you know what to do. Subscribe to this channel right now, because we drop powerful Stoic strategies every single day. And if you want to go deeper, if you're ready to join a community of men who live by the same code, click the link below and become a Stoic member. Private talks, private strategies, private growth. And if you're already subscribed, welcome back. We're just getting started. Thank you for watching. Stay sharp, stay grounded, and I'll see you tomorrow.